You are building your business backwards. Hear me out. The businesses that will dominate over the next 2 to 5 years, not longer than that, won't be the ones with the biggest teams or the most funding. They will be the ones who optimize outcomes with speed, with precision, and almost no overhead. And here is, I believe, the part that no one is bold enough to admit. In 2021, everyone was hiring for VAs. In 2023, they were documenting SOPs, especially after they've seen videos and read E-Myth or Dan Martell's book, Buyback Time. But the smartest business owners are not starting with tasks. They're starting with outcomes and deploying autonomous agents to deliver them end to end. They don't hire for execution. They map outcomes and assign them to intelligent agents, which essentially is software that learns, executes, and scales on its own. And if you're still leaning on large teams to manage repetitive work, you're moving slower than you think. I remember back in 2021, we were on this tiny private airplane in Costa Rica. And at some point during the flight, one entrepreneur asked my husband and I how many people were on our team, as if headcount equaled success. Anyway, back then we had 16 people working with us. Today, the answer I would give would be very different. Same lean team, but probably 10x the impact. Because we don't scale by blindly adding more people anymore. We scale intelligence and results. Listen, I've been in founder circles for years, in WhatsApp groups and Discords and masterminds, and every single week, someone is still asking the same thing. Know a good VA? Or who's got a solid chief of staff? Which is great. Don't get me wrong, I used to be a chief of staff. I think they're awesome. But I also believe that that was the old playbook. In our media agency and also in the AI company that my husband and I run, we obviously use agents, but we build them and we also sell them. And probably most importantly, we watch the shift happening in real time, both in our own business and with our clients. Because smart entrepreneurs and businesses aren't scaling people for the sake of headcount. They are scaling clarity, focus, outcomes with intelligence that runs 24/7. And that's not to replace humans, don't get me wrong, but it's mostly to give humans their energy back and to amplify their impact. But we need to be honest here, okay? Most business owners still hire for every task or spend months writing SOPs for every micro step, as I said, especially after discovering the E-Myth or reading Buyback Your Time. Nothing wrong with that, really. But smart and forward-thinking entrepreneurs and founders are asking a slightly better question. What are the 5 most valuable outcomes in my business, and how do I automate those? Not tasks, outcomes. And instead of building bigger teams, they're building a stack of AI agents, each one mapped to a specific business result. And that is exactly what we do now when we audit a new client. We don't ask them, who do you need to hire? We ask them, what do you need to achieve? That's the most important. And only then we match that to agents that can get stuff done, that can get that outcome done for them. They're shocked at how much can actually be automated when they see their workflows mapped out in front of them. That is always making the sale a lot easier. And I think it's important to acknowledge that this is no longer science fiction. It is not a beta test. It is completely, absolutely already here. I mean, look at this trend. It's pretty crazy, right? Agent marketplaces like N8N, like Manus, like Vapi, they are rewriting how modern businesses scale. And most founders still think they're early, but in my opinion, the truth is that you're not early anymore. You're just early enough not to be left behind. Okay, so before I go into the stack, it's important to talk about why we start with outcomes and why this is so critical. Most people build their business like a to-do list. They start with what needs doing, not why they're doing it. But ask any high-performance coach, especially Tony Robbins, and they will tell you clarity of outcome is the #1 predictor of success. I mean, Tony's entire RPM method, results, purpose, massive action, starts with the result that you want. Because when you define the outcome first, the how becomes obvious, the tools become visible, and the noise falls away. Outcomes create focus. Focus drives leverage, and leverage is what scales, which is what we've been talking about on this channel for so long. And that is why in the next few minutes, I'm not going to show you tools for every task. I'm going to walk you through the 5 highest leverage outcomes in any modern business and the exact agent that I would assign to each one. And this is based on what we do in our business. So I have proof and examples. So agent number 1, I'm calling this the digital VA or the zero inbox guardian. And I think it's important to start with this because most business owners are drowning in notifications. Every unread email, every ping, every follow-up that you forgot to send. It's a lot of noise, but it becomes cognitive load. It fragments your focus. It kills your creativity. And over time, it turns your role from founder into an overpaid task manager. And that is why nowadays, in 2025, smart entrepreneurs are not hiring for assistants to stay on top of their inbox. They're developing agents to protect their energy and act as a filter between them and the world. And this is actually funny because it's exactly what I told someone recently. They were pitching me a partnership and they were proudly offering to help manage my inbox. And I said, thank you, that is really lovely, but I already have an agent for that. And an awkward silence followed. Don't get me wrong, they're lovely people and I really appreciated their pitch. But that part of the conversation, let's say, was a little bit awkward. So let me explain how mine actually works. So essentially what happens is that twice a day, like clockwork, it messages me. Right now on Slack, we tried WhatsApp, we tried Telegram. I'm not there most of the time. I spend my day in Slack, so I prefer that. And it summarizes all emails that I've received since the last check-in. It flags anything urgent or important based on the guidance that I have provided before. It drafts proposed replies and it just saves them as drafts for me. It suggests meetings that I should schedule. It even recommends new contacts or action steps based on what it finds. And then I reply with quick decisions and it handles the rest. It is full automation or almost full automation, but I like to think of it as decision support and execution logic, and a lot of peace of mind for me. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but what's the stack? We built it with N8N for the logic flows, Google Workspace, Gmail, Calendar, Docs, that kind of thing. A messaging bot interface. As I said, I use Slack right now, but we can integrate with WhatsApp, with Telegram. We've done it, but I don't work with those too much during the day, so it doesn't seem as flawless in terms of ease of use for me as Slack. And essentially what this means is that I don't need to train a new VA. I don't make recurring mistakes, and I don't need to leave 10-minute voice notes to explain what I mean. And I'm not the only one doing this. Across entrepreneur groups that we are part of, some of them, there are some people who are really switched on and they've stopped asking about who's your VA. And now they've started asking, what does your agent handle for you? Because Inbox Zero, which, as I told you, is how I like to call this agent, this is not a goal. It's a prerequisite for building something that matters. Because sure, getting back your mental clarity is powerful, but it's what you do with that clarity that transforms your business. And nothing drives momentum more than delivering results on time, at scale, and without burning out. And that's exactly what the next agent is built for. Agent number 2, I call this one the client delivery agent or the promise keeper. Let's be honest. Most client fulfillment systems are a mess. I mean, missed onboarding emails, late updates, bottlenecks between your calendar, your VA, and your project board. Hey, just checking in type of messages that show you're reactive and not in control. And every time something slips, trust erodes. That's why this second agent in the stack is about more than saving time. It's about delivering consistent client experiences without a lot of manual checklists or team handoffs. This is the agent that we always install second, because if you can't deliver reliability, no amount of sales will save you. And if your fulfillment is smooth, then you won't just keep clients, you will turn them into your best marketing ever. Okay, so in our agency, we started a few years ago with Notion automation and Slack and email integrations. I mean, anyone who works with us knows that I am completely obsessed with Notion and I use it as much as possible. But that was not enough. We now have a much more sophisticated agent built with N8N. Surprise, surprise, I know. And here's how it works in our agency. Essentially, as soon as a new client signs up and we change their status in Notion, in the Notion database from lead to client, then they get a personalized onboarding message via email. And I've had clients tell me that they've never gotten a prompt and nicely structured email like ours, which, I mean, thank you, but it's the agent. Then the agent logs their information into our client database. It sets up the right project files and folders. It schedules key check-in messages for the next 4 weeks typically, as well as the main project milestones that we need. And then every week after our weekly call, we all get a clean update with links, status, and reminders. Nobody has to remember anything. I do not remember the last time I took notes in a call. Nobody has to chase anyone. It's a system that simply runs, like a Swiss watch. And if a client replies with a question, the agent flags it, suggests a response, or sends it to me directly in Slack if it's a high touch. It's scalable support without having to sacrifice warmth. And if you're wondering about the tools, clearly N8N, Mail, Notion, a little bit of Slack for alerts, and the note takers for calls management. We've used Firefly, we've used Otter, we use Fathom, so pick your one. And if you're selling services, coaching, consulting, creative, I believe this is a non-negotiable because nowadays delivery is your differentiation. The ability to get results is what matters. The new economy rewards who can get results with precision. And client retention is not about loyalty problem, it's a system and a results problem. But here's the thing. Keeping your clients happy is only half of the equation because no matter how good your fulfillment is, if the front end of your business isn't bringing in, high quality leads, essentially you're still one quiet season away from burnout. That is where this next agent comes in. This third one, it's a sales conversion engine or agent, and I call it the opportunity hunter. I don't know, you can call it however. So if you don't have a consistent stream of leads flowing into your business that you can actually convert, you don't have a business, in my opinion. You have a short-term project with an expiration date. But there's a big truth that most founders won't admit. The real problem is not lead generation. It's lead qualification and lead conversion. Basically selling, okay? It's making sure that the people you're spending time on are the right ones and that your calendar doesn't fill with dead ends. Because lead generation used to mean collecting emails with a standard ebook and then blasting people with, a one-size-fits-all email sequence. But nowadays, that is not only ineffective, it could also be brand. Real connection starts with relevance. And this agent that we're talking about does not only find people, it identifies opportunities and it prepares you for the sale. So we've built this opportunity hunter agent, and it's not just used by us, it's used by businesses in many other niches as well. It's not a form, it's not a funnel, it clearly is an agent. And essentially how it works is, I believe, super interesting. I would need to find the message that I sent my husband, although it probably is in Romanian, and show you the day that this idea came to my mind. I was doing a happy dance, okay? So basically, twice a day, or as often as you want, your opportunity scout can scan the digital landscape, the interwebs, from LinkedIn to newsletters to X to your inbox, and surfaces high signal insights because it has the definition of your ideal client avatar. Okay, it knows who you're looking for. I don't know, maybe that could be a founder in your space that just raised funding, or a course creator who's looking for backend helper, or a niche podcast just dropped an episode that overlaps with what you offer, or maybe they're looking for ways to repurpose, or a client is hiring for a role that your product replaces. It doesn't just hand you a list of names, it hands you a context map. Why they're fit, what they've said, what problems they're actively trying to solve. And instead of sending a pitch, it helps you launch a value-first landing page built with tools like Manus, for example, so you can offer something useful before asking for anything. Essentially, it creates a lead magnet that fits your prospect and their position on, in their journey. It could be a mini audit that you do for them, a shortcut to solving a pain point that they've already expressed. This is not the type of spray and pray kind of outreach, which a lot of brands do. It is personalized strategic business development done at scale. And when you're ready, the agent can even suggest soft touch follow-ups based on interest or engagement. Or if you integrate with VAPI, then you can take this one step further in terms of qualifying, and you can connect with them via a voice call and schedule a strategy meeting. I mean, you're not spamming, you are scouting. And with this agent, you will always know where your next opportunity lives and how to meet it with value. It's not a CRM, okay? As I said, it's an opportunity hunter that works 24/7. It never sleeps. It never forgets to follow up. And I think it's perfect for consultants, agencies, B2B creators, anyone whose business depends on high quality conversions, not just clicks. I mean, this one agent can replace your cold outreach VA, your LinkedIn scraper, your inbox schedule, and most of your prospecting anxiety, if I'm being honest. Because once you trust the system to fill your calendar with the right people, you get your time, your clarity, and your control back. But before someone becomes a lead, before they book a call or download a guide or buy from you, they need to know you exist, okay? And more than that, they need to trust you. Because in today's attention economy, trust is not built with cold messages. Everybody runs away from them. It's built with consistent ideas that meet people where they already are, which is why this next agent in your stack is not about chasing leads. It's about creating magnetic visibility. It's an agent that turns one piece of content into dozens. It multiplies your presence without multiplying your workload. So let's talk about this next agent, number 4, which we like to call the infinite content engine. Because every business is a media business nowadays. Honestly, you can listen to Gary Vee. He's been saying that for years. But the moment you try to be everywhere, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, your email list, you realize something. Content doesn't scale. You do. But only if you stop treating creation like a treadmill and you start treating it like a system. You cannot let social media consume your life by creating and manually posting 70 plus pieces of content on 10 plus platforms. I know Alex Hormozi said that he really started to grow when he moved from posting 7 or 8 pieces of content a month to posting 70. I don't even remember if it's per month or per week. And I think that's great. That is where growth really happens. But also that is where burnout can happen and overwhelm, because that's a lot of pieces of content, let's be honest. But this type of agent can make a huge difference because the infinite content engine can take a single valuable source of truth, I don't know, it can be a podcast episode or a YouTube video or even a Zoom call, and it can transform it into a full ecosystem of content. Short form reels, carousels, email breakdowns, Twitter threads or X threads, SEO optimized blogs, even script outlines for the next video. It extracts the key ideas, it repackages them for each platform, and organizes your publishing calendar so you don't have to think or worry, what do I post today? You just review, approve, and move on. Of course, here we also use N8N. I know it's not a surprise anymore, but it can repurpose in 9 types of content for 9 platforms from 5 different sources. I know it sounds complicated, but it really isn't. We use multiple AI tools. We use Perplexity for expanding the content value. We use Opus Clip. We use, for shorts, Notebook LM for one of the knowledge bases. We use Canva AI for simple but super powerful visuals. I mean, this is the difference between posting reactively and building a brand intentionally. So whether you're a solo creator, you're an agency or a founder who does not want to live in Canva all day or something else, this agent turns your ideas into influence, and your influence takes people from strangers to leads. Content is what earns trust. It brings in opportunity, but opportunity alone does not build a business. Decisions do. And the real bottleneck in most businesses, it's not leads. It's not delivery either. It's the founder, the owner, the CEO. The founder trying to keep it all in their head. The founder stuck in decision loops and waiting for clarity. The founder who is so deep in the day-to-day that they can't see the next strategic move. And I say this with love because I have been that person. And that is why the final agent in this stack is not about execution, it is about oversight. It's basically like your external brain, your pattern recognizer, your quiet strategist behind the scenes. And this 5th agent, you can call it the chief of clarity or the AI chief of staff. But it's so much more than that because it's faster, it's more focused, and it's available 24/7. And here I need to tell you something personal. Years ago, I was hired as a chief of staff inside a large org in big tech. And my job was to sit between the VP's vision and the team's execution. I was basically the filter for all the noise. I was prioritizing goals and making sure nothing slipped through the cracks and was keeping the whole machine moving forward even when everything was on fire. Like the chief emergency officer, something like that. It was super high stakes, super high pressure, but also very rewarding. And back then, it made a lot of sense. But today, you can replicate 80% of that function with an agent like this. Because it's not about admin tasks or scheduling calls. It is a personal management consultant or a COO, okay? It's about installing thinking leverage inside your business. And basically, this is how it works. As many times a day as you need, we do it once a day. The agent, the AI chief of staff agent, checks the heartbeat of your business. It can pull KPIs from Notion or Airtable or YouTube Analytics. It flags anything that doesn't fit or that's drifting, content performance, deadlines. It reminds me of what decisions I'm avoiding. For example, if I need to change a thumbnail or post a video, anything like that. And it also proposes a list of priorities for the week based on what is actually moving the needle. I call ours Maui. Don't ask me why. Long story. Maybe I can tell you why another time. And it delivers all of that inside Slack. It can do WhatsApp as well, like I told you. It's like a daily CEO brief, curated just for me. I don't have to read dashboards. There's no manual digging. There's no context switching. Clearly, we built this with N8N, connecting with our existing systems and customizing the prompts based on our business and strategic goals, obviously. And you can do that too, regardless of your business. Because the difference between a chaotic operator and a calm, confident founder is never more hours. It's better signals, it's less noise, and a thinking partner that never forgets, never burns out, and always has your back. Which is how I like to think of myself when I was a chief of staff. This is how you lead with leverage. This is the final agent that turns your business from reactive to resilient. Now, if this sparked something in you, if you're ready to stop thinking about AI and actually build with it, then consider joining our free community. We run free challenges where we actually help you design and deploy your first agent. We do that step by step. Super simple, because I know it can be overwhelming. I hear that every single day from people joining our community. And don't worry, you do not need to be a coder. Of course, it helps if you do have coding knowledge, but that's not necessary. It's not required. You just need to be curious, okay? And you will find the tools, the support, real entrepreneurs building agent-powered businesses. I mean, this is, I like to believe, where the shift is happening. You don't just watch it, but you can be part of it. So the link is going to be down below. Hopefully we've put the QR code here as well. And I am really, really excited to see you on the other side. In the meantime, if you like this video, please be sure to like it, share it with anyone in your circle of friends or family who you think needs to hear this. Subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, I also suggest you go ahead and watch this video over here. I'll see you soon. Bye.